Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be doing transportation system in human beings and biology. Let's give out our title. Biology. We're doing transportation system. So you might be asking what exactly transportation system is. Well, transportation system is the, you can say, blood circulation system. Now, what is exactly blood combined of? Or what exactly does blood have? Blood has three things: RBC, WBC, platelets. You have been asking what these and these are? This is a red blood cell. This is a white blood cell. And platelets are platelets. Now you might be asking what exactly red blood cell and white blood cells are. White blood cells, on the other hand, are of two kinds. One is phagocytes, the other is lymphocytes. They also have two different functions. And then we have platelets. Now, is RBC, we all know. It's a blood cell which contains hemoglobin, which is an iron containing pigment. So, if you guys have like cut open your lips or somewhere, and when you suck on it, there's this iron kind of smell that comes from your blood. That is because there is hemoglobin in your blood, and hemoglobin contains iron. So every time you have iron deficiency, or most precisely said anemia, doctors suggest you to take iron supplements. That is the reason why. WBC, on the other hand, have two things: phagocytes and lymphocytes. Phagocytes. Now, what does the phagocytes do? The phagocytes eat up, or let's say engulf, the bacterias, bad bacterias to be precise, or foreign bodies. Lymphocytes, on the other hand, what it does is that it produces antibodies. Then again, you might be asking, what do platelets do? Platelets simply just help in blood clotting. You know that scab that we have every time we like cut somewhere else. That is actually what platelets do. They basically spreads out this enzyme which actually covers up so that no other organism from outside enters the body. Now, since we are done, let's go to the human circulatory system. Now, since you know the human circulatory system, let's give it a heading. Human, I don't know if you guys can see it. Yes. Human circulatory system. Now okay, my handwriting is not very horizontal, neither parallel. I just can draw straight lines, that's all. Alright, so the human circulation or circulatory system. Do you have any idea that the human circulation is also called a double circulation? Do you know exactly why? Well, The reason to it is that blood flows to the heart twice to complete the blood flow circuit. Now, in case of human and other standing animals, we have this double circulation. On the other hand, let's say fishes, they have this single circulation where the blood flows through just one way. Simple as that. Okay, so let's say this circle is a heart. Now let's divide it in four parts. This is the right atrium, this is the left atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle. Now you might be asking, wow, what do they do? Now, the right atrium and the left atrium are actually the receiving chambers. So, the right atrium receives deoxygenated blood, and the left atrium receives the oxygenated blood. On the other hand, the ventricles, they are the pumping chambers where the right ventricle, you know, takes in blood from tissue, uh, takes in oxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood, and it gives out oxygenated blood. Now, among these, there are also classifications. For example, if you don't know, the main vein of the body is the vena cava. Now, before we get into the vein and arteries, I would like you to know that veins carry blood from the tissue to the heart, which means it has deoxygenated blood, and artery carries the blood away from heart to the tissues. So vena cava is the main vein. Now, where does it stay? Okay, I have written it mistakenly as V-A-I-N. It's V-E-I-N. Alright, so it stays right here. Like the blood, all the blood is collected from the tissues and is sent through the vena cava. So this is the vena cava. This is the right ventricle, as you guys can see. From there, it goes from here to lungs. Now, how do they go to the lungs? Simple. The deoxygenated blood is actually gone by the pulmonary artery. Now, usually for any pulmonary artery, so now usually arteries' work is to, carry the oxygenated blood from the heart to the tissues. But in this case, this is exactly the opposite. But this, again, same system is also seen if we do another video on unborn child, placenta, and everything, where the umbilical artery carries in the deoxygenated blood from the baby to the mother. Now let's not go deep into it. Now let's say this is the pulmonary artery. So it carries the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So the lungs usually takes in the blood, like removes the carbon dioxide, and how is it bring back to the heart? By pulmonary vein, oxygenated blood. Same as like only pulmonary vein and pulmonary artery have the exact opposite of their roles, which has to be done in this case. Then again, how do it gets passed on by all the other parts of the body? Aorta. Aorta walks in. Aorta gets all the oxygenated blood to the entire body. So you see, there's one circuit, half of the heart is working to get the deoxygenated blood, and again another half of the heart is working to pass down the oxygenated blood that has been refined from lungs. So that is why it is a double circulation. We got this still here. Let's go to another page. Okay, so now we have something called capillaries. Now, what exactly are capillaries? You may be wondering. Of course, it's something to be wondering of. Now, capillaries are actually this. Um, let's draw in a diagram. My diagram will, of course, not be too great. Um, So let's say these are cells of tissues. The yellow thing is actually, not the yellow, this white thing is actually tissue fluid. Now, when the blood is going through the artery, they're actually during this tissue fluid is formed when during the blood is traveling through the arteries. Since arteries, I have not mentioned this, but arteries have a higher pressure than veins do. So when the blood is passed from artery to the vein, there are slight bit of holes where few of the t- few of the fluid is taken out except for the RBCs. Now that fluid then again, the substances will take in whatever is needed, and by substances I mean the cells of tissue, will take in the oxygen and nutrients like glucose and amino acids, and they will actually give out their waste through the blood so that the vein then backs it in. It is again also done by diffusion. So this is the basically that is it. So what are capillaries? Capillary is like this um these like walls of structures that not walls of structures. So you see in every artery there is this every artery and vein there is this gap in between the walls of it. So those are actually capillaries where they diffuse out the fluids and everything. So that is it. Next we have, so as you guys, okay, so after this is done you guys have to remember that atrium, ventricle, and valves. I have not mentioned valves because what valves really are is that it's a flap of muscle that is in between the heart, which prevents the backflow of blood, and it makes sure that it is going in the right direction. So atrium, the blood moves at low pressure. obviously. The ventricle, blood moves out at high pressure, and the valves make sure that the blood flows in the right direction. So that is about it. Now, of course, everything comes in with its diseases. The heart diseases are also known as coronary heart disease, where what happens is that when you have a poor diet or a poor lifestyle, or it also happens for genetic factors. And by genetic factors, I mean that if you have noticed, most of the men have um, heart heart diseases, these coronary heart diseases, and it is mostly seen in men because men mostly have that family history of heart diseases. Now, poor diet can mean that you eat a lot of cholesterol, mostly, and poor lifestyle, smoking, and genetic factors, male genes, like or being male, just being male, right? So that also comes in with this thing called um, let's say when your let's say your arteries, coronary arteries, get blocked by cholesterol, so the blood flow is being, you know, restricted, and it causes you heart attacks and other heart diseases. So, in order to prevent from that, you need to have, of course, a better diet, a better lifestyle. We cannot do anything about genetic factors. So, as much as we can do, we have to, improve our lifestyle and diet. And another thing that we can do, one is a coronary artery bypass. So, what it does is that an artery from a functioning place is cut and then sticked to like stitched to the heart so that the blood flow remains since the artery is blocked. And another is angioplasty. Angioplasty is where a cage is put in between the arteries to widen it up so that none of the cholesterol, like all the cholesterol, can pass through it and does not block the arteries. Okay, guys, so that is about it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any doubts, go back to this video again, check it through to see what other things can be done, and let me know if it has, helped you in any way. See you in another video. Have a great day.